Hey there, Postal here. Hope you're having a good Friday. We are continuing our Spitfire 16 grind. This is a game I had late last night after I got home from work. And I happened to be on, and somebody was like, hey, would you mind doing a video on the XP-55? And it's like, sure. I'm working on mission number 12. That's 120,000 personal points. And I really do quite like this plane. Especially after the buff. And you're going to notice that in the gameplay here. And I've mentioned this before, but really the range of the range buff that the 50 caliber machine guns received is more impactful, dad pun, than the damage buff. The damage buff obviously is perfectly great. Nobody's going to argue with that. But being able to do any kind of damage sooner is always going to be a good thing. Alright, so we've gone ahead and melted down that plane. This particular map is 5-sector map. Center location is the most important. It is a military base. And that'll allow us to, technically, if we feel like we can camp this sector, we'll still be capturing other sectors because the military base is doing military base kind of things. It's always weird when I do the voiceover after the fact. Almost all my videos, I'm doing the commentary live, just because of the way World of Warplane's replays work. Like I said, this one, it was late last night. I wasn't, in fact, it might have even been early this morning at that point. I'm not going to be doing voiceovers with the rest of my family is sleeping, so you get early morning postal voiceover on a battle that he is hoping goes well. Alright, so when heavy fighters are coming at you like this, you might have noticed this with the heavy air defense aircraft. I tend to go straight at them until right before they're able to shoot at me, and then I start wiggling like my life depends on it, because you know what? It does. A little wiggle like that throws them off, whether you're wiggling up, wiggling down, wiggling left, wiggling right. Don't do the same thing every time, especially against humans, because they'll potentially catch on to you. And just allows me to wiggle and get behind him and be done with it. My XP-55 is specialized. It's not maximized. It's not ultimate equipment, but pretty damn good. Alright, so what I'm doing in this situation is just kind of assessing. I was going to hang out at the center for a while longer, but nothing's really showing up there until, of course, you leave the sector, and then everything shows up there. I figure I'll help my team try to capture some sectors here. This is something I really want to point out, actually. So I know that there's red planes around me, but I also know we've almost captured this. So what I want to do is kill this plane, so that allows us to capture the airbase, and it still allows me to get 2 more kills, right? So instead of just getting, if I had attacked the red plane, killed that, we would have gotten the sector, the air defense aircraft would have exploded, and I would have had 1 other aircraft to kill. So yeah, it would have been 2 kills. But I was able to get 3 kills out of that. And sometimes that adds up. Sometimes that makes the difference. On top of that, in certain situations like that, you can kill the air defense aircraft. And then if the aircraft is well enough into the sector, the enemy aircraft, when you kill it, you're also getting defense kills. So, you know, tips and tricks, I suppose. Alright, so after I left the center, everybody and their brother decided to show up here. We need to reset this, basically. They had it almost a half, so luckily we got rid of the ground attacker. And with the boost that I've got on this plane, I'm able to stick with some of these heavy fighters. Not all of them by any means. XP-54s and ME-410s more than... Hello? Human ground attacker. Trying to be cheeky. And he was pretty cheeky. But there's also like a million other aircraft over here, and so you've got to determine, well, what's the most important thing to kill? A ground attacker, even a human ground attacker, is not going to be able to do too much to me at this height. So let me get rid of the things that can kill me, and then I can focus on the ground attacker, because he's probably stalled out at this point. He definitely has stalled out at this point, and he's down at low altitude. I've cleared anything that could really kill me. Let's head over to this ground attacker and see what we can do against him now that he's unavailable to kill me. He's also being picked on by a friendly, so he's probably not even paying attention to me. And there's that range, that extra range. It comes in super handy. All right, got ourselves a Nakamatsu. Didn't even notice that last night. Yeah. So right now we did a lot of it. When you're in a plane like this that's as fragile as it is, and most fighters for that matter, you really need to be paying attention, full attention to the map. You may notice on this particular setup I don't have a engine restart. Oh, wait a minute, what am I doing? Okay, good. I would recommend having an engine restart on this just because you got a rear engine and they tend to get knocked out pretty often. I don't necessarily have issues with that, but the majority of setups will. And if you are being focused down by a human enemy, you will get your engine knocked out eventually. Alright, so let's see what we can do against this guy. He was at the extreme range. Ow. Well, how'd that happen? He was at the extreme range of the machine guns, so they weren't quite doing what I wanted them to do, but it looks like I'm dead here. So, out. And somehow that counted. Oh, just destroyed by fire. Okay. Alright, so we lost the center there, unfortunately. And, but we are up a decent amount on capture points. I'm going to spawn up north, I think. Yes, because there's more multi-roles and fighters, things that this plane is built to take on. Sure, it can do stuff versus ground attackers and bombers, but it's really not its cup of tea. It's really kind of reminds me of the F-86, just, you know, not. Really, any plane that's going to have this kind of gun setup for machine guns is going to be better built versus lighter. Oop. Okay. F4U is not necessarily overly scary, but in a head-on, you know, 20mm cannons will completely tear you up. Anyway, this plane is really much better at taking on fighters and multi-role fighters, as you can see. Less hit points. Doesn't matter for the machine guns. Your maneuverability is going to put you on top. And this plane is very maneuverable. It's on par with a Ki-61. So, you know, on the more maneuverable end, but not necessarily at the top like the Zeros and the Yak. But very usable. In fact, this plane is almost a carbon copy of the Ki-61 as far as its metrics are concerned. Same altitude, same maneuverability, and that's really all you need to know in that regard. The guns are different. The plane themselves are completely different. But all right, so here there's 3 multi-rolls. I'm not going to go for the first one because that's just going to put me in front of the other 2. So let's go for the last one. It's guerrilla tactics here. Get the last one. Nobody else knows what's going on. That's cool. It was taking a little while to kill him. Hopefully this doesn't bite me in the ass. All right, cool. Got the last guy. Let's get the middle guy. Melt him down. Alrighty. Oh, got an ace. Hot damn. Let's go ahead and get this guy knocked out. Perfect. And we've set ourselves up for the win 100% at this point. Basically killed everything that had the potential to flip sectors on this end. Their center location got them 1 sector, but they were so far behind. Doesn't really change the game outcome here. So yeah, the thing I haven't even touched on yet, this plane is a free premium plane. Anybody can grind this out and earn it. It is not necessarily everybody's favorite or everybody's cup of tea or cup of coffee as it is for me this morning, but it's an outstanding plane. It's one of the few maneuverable American fighters. And so it might be something that's up your alley. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hangar. Alright, excellent. So we were able to get 21 kills there. Complete our mission in this situation. We had 22,000 personal points, so that certainly helps when you're trying to get 120,000. Of course, I had a few games in here that were 9,000, 10,000. I had some other pretty darn good games, actually, and I'm probably just going to save them for future posts. Considering this was the last game, and it was a request, and it was 22,000 personal points. So I might as well go with this one. And so this one's just, I really like the XP-55. I know a lot of people, to be honest, were disappointed with it once they earned it. But especially now with the machine gun buffs, the XP-55 is really in a good spot. You've got great maneuverability, just enough altitude performance, just enough airspeed to be impactful. And it's unique and it's premium. It's nice to be able to earn a little bit of extra credits while you're out there flying around. We were able to have a really good impact on that battle simply by owning the center, and that was based on the map setup. Obviously, we wouldn't just hang out at the center as often as we did without the center being an important sector. No offense to garrisons, but if the center was a garrison, I wouldn't have hung out there for nearly as long. I've got my F-86 pilot in here. It fits this specificities very well. Just really good balance on the airframe with mediocre guns, and that's what the F-86 is. Although the argument could be made the F-86 is one of the top airframes at Tier 10 and allows you to really just put yourself in a good position. So as far as my equipment setup is concerned on this plane, I've got pretty standard setup as far as the equipment. You want to boost your accuracy. There is no gun equipment slot for this plane like most of the American fighters. And so I've got a polished skin on the airframe, lightweight wing frame, and a lightweight engine. It allows to boost my maneuverability and adds a touch of speed. It is experimental polished skin, which is really nice. I did want to recommend, again, most people should have the engine restart more often than not. When I first got the plane, I was getting my engine knocked out pretty often. Now that I feel so incredibly comfortable in the plane, I'm willing to take a chance and have the engine boost. You notice my engine didn't get knocked out once there, except for the time I died. But other than that, I'm able to succeed without having to restart my engine. Again, your results may vary. You're definitely going to want to have some sort of grasp of exactly what you want to do with this plane. I recommend maneuverability build, but you could have a speed build of sorts and you'll still have decent maneuverability. And again, grind it out. It's completely free. It'll allow you to have a Tier 6 premium in your hangar. Next up, we've got to get 30 armored sectors of ground targets, so we're definitely not taking this plane. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.